Okay, let's take a look at inversions. So, well, they're called textual inversions, but I'm going to refer to them mainly as embeddings, but they're kind of confusingly known by two names, textual inversions and embeddings. So we'll try to keep it just to embeddings because we're going to be using that term quite a lot in the video. So embeddings are small files that you can actually download, and you can get them in the usual places. So Civit AI, etc. And I'll show you where you can download a couple of pretty decent ones. So here we are on Civit AI, and we've got the Dream Shaper checkpoint. And if we come to one of the images in the examples, you'll see that if we go down, there are a couple of negative prompts. There's Bad Dream and there's Fast Negative V2. Now this is geared towards Automatic 1111 rather than ComfyUI, but the idea is the same. We need to put something in the negative prompts which is going to have a positive effect. Now what will that be and how does it work? Well, it works a little bit like the LoRa's, but it's a different type of file. So if we go to the author of Lycon, take a look at another image. Here we've got Bad Dream, Unrealistic Dream. See that it's got a weight. It's got a weight of 1.3. So you can add weights to these prompts, to these embeddings. So let's take a look. I want to go to Lycon's actual page, and we'll see what all of these embeddings are. So sometimes with Civit AI, you'll actually see the resources used. This is actually the embedding. This is another embedding. You'll see these embeddings in the resources used section. For some reason, they haven't included those items here, but we can go to the author's page and you can see that on Lycon's page, he's got a number of what are called embeddings. And one of these is Bad Dream and Unrealistic Dream. I think we saw that in the negative prompt for one of the images. So let's go and take a look at what that is all about. And here you can see there's a very small file, and the file is associated with these images and a trigger word, Bad Dream. It says here, Bad Dream plus Unrealistic Dream, negative embeddings, make sure to grab both. Do you like what I do? Okay, here's once a bit of support on Patreon. I perfectly understand. What we'll do is we'll take a look at one of the images, and you'll see that we have actually got resources used, Bad Dream plus Unrealistic Dream, embeddings. And if we click on those, I think it actually does take us to the page here. So sometimes they have them, sometimes they don't have them in the resources used, but it's a very small download for Bad Dream. And if we click here, there's another very small download for Unrealistic Dream. Now what they do basically is that they improve the quality of the image. They improve the quality of the results. And I'm also going to add, because prompts are always a little bit, there's always a bit of probability going on with prompts. We don't always get the results that we want with these negative prompts, with these negative embeds. They're called negative embeds. They're called textual inversions, embeddings. Let's just stick with embeddings for the time being, because they can be used positively and negatively. Now you can try to use the trigger words if you want to. You just copy the trigger word and you place it in the prompt. We'll just copy this like that, and then we would go to our prompt and we place the trigger word inside of the prompt. But this is ComfyUI, so we need to do something a little bit differently. We need to operate this in a slightly different way to the way we do it inside of Automatic 1111. So back on this page, one of the things you'll see here is the author says, since I was refactoring my usual negative prompt with fast negative embedding, why not do the same with my super long Dream Shaper negative prompts? So there's a mention of negative, negative, negative. Why is that? Well, it's because these prompts, Unrealistic Dream and Bad Dream, they go in the negative prompt section. So they have to, if you put them in the positive prompt, you'll get the opposite of what you want. So they try to improve the image, and it's very difficult to explain exactly what they do. But if I show you this, it's not going to really explain it. So that's using the negative prompt, Bad Dream, with the Dream Shaper checkpoint, unrealistic bad dream, unrealistic dream and bad dream, and then we have nothing. So without those two, so you can decide for yourself, is this what you're looking for? Is this better? Is this even, you can decide for yourself what is it that these are having, what impact are they having. And I don't think these examples really genuinely give us a good idea of what the embeddings do. But the probability is that you would get a better outcome, generally speaking, if you use the negative embeddings. So the negative embeddings would go in the negative prompt. Then there are positive embeddings as well, which we need to take a look at. This one here, the princess style, is a positive embedding, and this one would go into the positive prompt. So sometimes you just have to be, you know, really kind of like sensitive to the context to know where you put it. So if it's something you want, and we want something that looks like a princess, we want this girl to turn into this. Let's see if there's another one. So this is the original image, and this is with the prompt. Okay, so you get the idea. This is the original, this is with the prompt. So we download this, and then we put it where? We go into models, we go into embeddings, and then we put the embeddings here. And when you put the embeddings in, you really want to take note of what the name of the embedding is, because we're going to be using that inside of ComfyUI. You can use the embedding with the .pt, the part that comes afterwards, or you can use it just on its own. So let's close that, and then let's go into Comfy. So inside of ComfyUI, what I've done is put the negative prompts, the embedding bad dream, embedding unrealistic dream, with the weight here. You don't have to have the weight. You can actually go lower with the weight if you want to. But embedding, we use the exact term embedding. And I actually want to have just 2 Ds there, don't I? Because otherwise it doesn't really work properly. And we've got to get the spelling just right. And here we need to have the spelling just right as well, embedding. So you got to make sure you get the spelling right. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. It's one of those things where you've got to get it just perfect. With the ones where you have the prompt with the weight, you would have in that situation 2 colons with the weight placed afterwards. And you're sort of treating them just like any other prompt in some ways, but with the word embedding before them. So let's see what happens when we correct, since I've just corrected those 2. And they weren't really working as embeddings before because the spelling was correct, or it was incorrect. Let's see what happens when we run this prompt a second time. Everything else is fixed. So there it is with the embeddings correctly applied. Now, when you're using embeddings, what you'll find is that the outcome is not always perfect. But in my experience, particularly with these negative embeddings from Lycon, from the Dream Shaper guy, we're using them, especially with the Dream Shaper checkpoint, they generally produce significantly better outcomes. Not always better, but almost always better. And you could, if you wanted to, test them with your own designs. If you're looking for something that's beautiful, elegant, you might want to use them. If you're looking for something that's ugly, not so elegant, if you do things that are the opposite of beautiful, ugly, disgusting, sort of vile gaming art or that sort of stuff, zombie art, you might want to not use these ones, because they do obviously produce a kind of a beautifying effect. That's the idea behind them. Now, the other guy was the Style Princess, and well, let's take a look at what the Style Princess says about the embedding. Now, on the Style Princess page, we've got the trigger words Style Princess, so we could copy that. And she says this is a style embedding. I think that's a woman. This is a style embedding which turns your image subjects into a bona fide princess. Into bona fide princesses. Think pearls, tiaras, and ball gowns. Simply throw style princess onto the end of your prompt or the start if the effect doesn't come through strong enough, and bam, your subject is now a princess. It's as easy as that. You can combine this embedding with other embeddings. Okay, so the instructions are a little bit misleading as usual when it comes to ComfyUI. What we need to do is to change those for ComfyUI. And as you can see here, what I've done is to put embedding, correctly spelled, style princess, and that is what's giving us this beautiful kind of image with the crown, with the beautiful dress, and so on. And you can tell also I put African just before style embedding style princess. So if we were to put blonde, gives us the same thing, but now with a blonde girl. And so you kind of need to figure out where to put the adapter words. So we've got here blonde embedding style princess. It's gonna work on the style princess to make her blonde. We've also got the trigger word here, which I pasted in. And the trigger word doesn't really seem to do much. We can take it away and see what happens. Let's do that. And also you can see here I've got the enlargement happening with we're using a slightly different one now. The upscale model here is, which one is it? It's the Ezragan ×2, real Ezragan. And you can see here with the style princess trigger word, it's not doing anything at all. It's not doing much at all. But inside of automatic 1111, it would make a world of difference. We've got cute one in the library, books on shelves, glasses, braided hair, award-winning photography, 50mm lens portrait. Now, this kind of thing here, this comes from photography. And in photography, you have certain types of lens which can produce a certain type of portrait or a certain type of composition. 50mm sometimes gives us this sort of composition where you've got the upper part of the body, but not the full body. You'd want something like a 30mm for full body or even 20mm. So that's how we would use embeddings here. But the other thing I want to point out is that if we were to take the embedding and to bring it up to the front as the lady suggests that we do, for more effect, I don't think it's going to have much of an effect. I don't think it'll have much. I think it just looks a little bit, I don't know. I don't think it has that much more of an effect, but it does change the impact of the prompt where you put it. So I mean, if we compare this with the previous one, I don't think it's really changing very much, is it? I think this one is actually a little bit more impressive. So yeah, the order of prompts does impact the results that you get, but in this particular case, I don't think it actually improved it at all. But that is how we use embeddings inside of ComfyUI. Another thing to bear in mind is that we can put in the full name. So we should be able to put in the PT, and that should work just the same. It shouldn't actually affect very much at all. There we are. It hasn't changed anything. So you can put in the name without the suffix, or you can put it in with the suffix, and it doesn't seem to affect the outcome. But that's how we use embeddings inside of ComfyUI. So another embedding is the Atom Punk one, and this one's interesting and says the author says the embedding to get the Atom Punk style aesthetic to any image quickly and easily. Images were generated using the legendary A to Zovia RPG artist tools. So I think this is actually a checkpoint. So you can see that they're using these embeddings with specific checkpoints associated with them, and that's part of the culture. It's pairing different different models with different checkpoints. And quite often it is very useful to read some of these points that the authors make. When you look at this one, I think it's trying to change the image into a kind of like this sort of punk, atomic punk. It'll be an interesting one to test out and to see what impact it has. You can also mix these very different embeddings in your prompts. Now, when it comes to my own account, you can see these are some of the embeddings that are coming up when I do a search. It's a huge range of different features, different things that you can get, different results that you can get using embeddings.